So the first weekend of the Battlefield 6 open beta just concluded, and I have no idea what to do with my life for the next few days while I wait for weekend 2. This game is absolutely insane, okay? It's explosive, chaotic, intense, action-packed, authentic, and most importantly, this game is just so much fun. I can't remember the last time I was able to sit down and play a Battlefield game, let alone a first-person shooter in general, for hours upon hours. It's so damn addicting. And I told y'all, okay, some of y'all didn't want to listen. I get it. We were all scared DICE and EA were going to mess it up again, and who knows, they still could. But every day we get closer to launch, the more confident I become in this new team over at Battlefield Studios. No, the game is not perfect. There are some things that need to be fixed, of course, and we will go over some of those issues in today's video, but Battlefield 6 has somehow found a way to recapture the magic and vibe of the old legends in the franchise, such as Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. In fact, the first thing I noticed after booting up the beta and getting into my first match was how much the game reminded me of Bad Company 2 right off the rip. Of course, the obvious features like the destruction and the modern setting help with that, but even the little things that most people don't talk about, like the scale of the players to the world around them, or even the camera angle of the player, felt extremely Bad Company-ish to me, if you get what I'm saying. Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2 always had this up close and personal feel to it, giving the game a really raw, authentic experience, and Battlefield 6 has brought that back. It's really hard to pinpoint it to one thing or feature though that makes Battlefield 6 feel so nostalgic, but the classic formula is very much alive in this title. This is the best Battlefield game I have played in almost a decade, and honestly, if the quality of the rest of the package matches the quality we saw in the beta, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I think this game is gonna be better than Battlefield 1. I know it's a beta, but as of now, I am having an absolute blast playing Battlefield 6. And the crazier part is the rest of the gaming community seems to agree that this game is an absolute banger, with the Battlefield 6 open beta skyrocketing its player base on Steam and surpassing the previously held concurrent player record of 400,000 players by Call of Duty. Over 500,000 people on Steam alone played the Battlefield 6 beta over the weekend, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat their own number again during the next play session. So as we impatiently await weekend 2 of the open beta, I kind of just wanted to hop on here, get on the old handy dandy microphone, and give you my honest opinion of Battlefield 6 so far. Really quick though, if you are enjoying the content around here, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I've been playing this franchise for a long time. It's my favorite game of all time. So if you enjoy Battlefield like I do, definitely stick around for more videos, streams, and content while we wait for the launch of Battlefield 6. Hell, we even just gave away a Phantom Edition copy of the game the other day on stream. The hype is real, I'm telling y'all, okay? So stay tuned to the channel for everything Battlefield 6. You know what? I'm a give me the bad news first kind of guy, okay? So let's talk negatives first. The biggest issue in this game at the moment, in my opinion, is the TTD, or time to death. Now, don't get this confused with TTK, which is time to kill. I've seen a lot of people online complaining about the time to kill, which is how fast it feels to kill an enemy player, being too fast in this game. And although it can be somewhat inconsistent maybe, I actually think the TTK is fine as is. The real problem to me is the time to death. Something is definitely not syncing up right here, whether it's a netcode issue or something else behind the scenes going wrong, but there's definitely something going wrong, okay? Because I would often find myself getting one frame deaths or getting shot and killed around corners way too often. Scenarios in which I usually would have been safe from enemy bullets in past Battlefield games after dodging behind cover or around a wall would actually end up killing me in Battlefield 6. So I think that does need to be looked at closely by the developers and get just a bit of a tuning, because it can be pretty frustrating, especially when you feel like you reacted first and popped off the first shot, yet you get absolutely melted in half a millisecond by the enemy player. Again, not a huge concern. This isn't a game-breaking or fundamental design flaw in the game, but I do hope they can get it to feel better at launch. Another problem I see in Battlefield 6 is the map design, especially on Liberation Peak on Breakthrough. This map is an absolute sniper-infested rat nest on Breakthrough. Shit looks like Van Gogh Starry Night when you were attacking some of those first sectors with the amount of sniper glint that you see in the distance. I don't think there's enough cover on the right side of the map where that like kind of barren hillside is. They could fix this by possibly making some of the boulders bigger or potentially adding another building or two, but flanking on this map on Breakthrough specifically felt pretty rough in some areas because you really just felt like you're just like a fish in a bowl with all of these snipers. On the topic of map design though, I will say this. I'm seeing a lot of freak out over how quote unquote small these maps feel. And I get what you're saying. These would generally be considered small to medium-sized maps in comparison with other Battlefield games, but I think they're just fine. In fact, I don't remember the last time I had this much fun playing Conquest as an infantry player. The action seems focused yet big enough to give you the scale of war. In past games, I've had to stick to Breakthrough or Rush as an infantry player to get the same feeling I get here in Battlefield 6 with Conquest. And honestly, with the developers coming out and saying that there will be bigger maps at launch, I'm really not concerned one bit about this. To me, it's very clear that they went back and looked at Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3's map size and based a lot of their decisions based on some of the most popular maps from those titles for this new game. And I think it's extremely refreshing to play on maps like this after the absolute marathon simulator Battlefield 2042 felt like at times. And I don't know, it's just a non-issue for me personally. I understand the desire to have these big epic set piece maps drawn out with vehicle dominance, and I think we will get some of that at launch with Mirak Valley and Operation Firestorm. But the fact that they chose these 3 maps for the beta makes a lot of sense to me in order to test Battlefield 6 at its peak, like octane level, and make sure it held up to the quality and fun factor they were going for. And finally, to wrap up the negatives for me, I'm still not a huge fan of the dual primary system for the assault class. And the shotgun being absolutely busted at the moment is definitely highlighting this problem for sure. Even the ability to carry 2 grenade launchers seems somewhat broken and unnecessary to me personally. Again, this is not like a huge deal. Maybe they're doing this to give players some more reasons to choose assault because, well, the weapons aren't locked, so assault rifles can be used by anyone. So that incentive for the assault class is kind of gone. I will say though, if you noticed that you were running out of ammo quickly while playing Assault, it was because you were running dual primaries and you didn't realize it, okay? For some reason, the game defaulted to dual primaries, which activates the weapon sling and gives you less ammo on your primary weapons. If you switch that secondary primary back to a launcher, you will find yourself with more ammo. So this is a good balance feature, and while I appreciate it, I just think they're trying really hard to make this system work when it just kind of doesn't. I think once Assault gets the deploy beacon switched to it from the Recon class at launch, this should replace that extra gadget you were able to carry, limiting you to your primary, your secondary weapons such as a pistol, a grenade launcher, and the deploy beacon. Now, will they do this? Time will tell. I think that would just keep Assault strong yet balanced, but currently Assault just feels kind of weird. I know some people complained about the air vehicles, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big helicopter / jet guy myself, so I'm not going to get into that. But from what I've heard, the air vehicles don't feel that great at all, so I'm going to leave that one to the experts, okay? Like if the likes of Ghost Gaming and Silk feel like the jets need work, then I believe them. And of course, to wrap up the negatives, we need a server browser, okay? Server browser needs to return in Battlefield 6. I'm hoping this portal server browser they keep telling us about is truly the answer we are looking for. But I started finding myself queuing up for matches and then quitting to the main menu once I found out it was the same Liberation Peak, for example, that I had just played 3 times in a row. Now, for the positives, this game has a lot, okay? So much, in fact, that it's hard to fit it all in one video without going on for too long. But at its core, Battlefield 6 is just, dude, it's just an extremely fun game to play, and it feels so old school, man, okay? Whether that's the audio, the setting, the gunplay, even the little voice effect callouts such as, we have a big fucking tank in your IO, like gives me so much nostalgia from Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. Even the matchmaking to a degree feels old school. Now I know there's no server browser, we definitely need that, but the variety of players you encounter in each match is just so refreshing. Okay, these are not Sweat City, FaZe Clan, Metaville lobbies after you get a few good rounds. Okay, some games I absolutely stomped the enemy team, Other times I got stomped on, and most of the time it was actually pretty close. I know the developers said their biggest priorities for finding a match was ping and connection, with skill level being at the bottom, only necessary to help balance the teams. And it just feels so good to truly feel like every match is a combination of different skilled players all doing their thing on the battlefield. Moving on to the next point, I personally feel like the gunplay is great. Yes, after you upgrade certain weapons, they can get just a bit laser beamy, but this is nothing like 2042, okay? The spread on the guns keep the engagement distances small. I never really experienced getting killed from an AR at 100 meters like I did in 2042. You definitely do need to burst fire at longer ranges in this game, and the damage drop off is significant enough. Maybe some weapons could get a bit of their recoil bumped up, but I don't know, man. Personally, for me, I'm always weary of suggesting like gunplay mechanical changes when the game feels so fun to play as is. And since the guns are what you are using 99% of the time in this game, I just like don't want them to fuck up whatever is working right now and what's fun in this game when it comes to gunplay and how good it feels to shoot them. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this next point, and I know we are just in beta, so it's hard to really give a complete review on this, but the progression and ranking up system felt really good. In my opinion, you rank up just fast enough. It doesn't feel too easy where you sense that you could just max rank the game in a week, but it also doesn't feel too grindy or unrewarding. The new accolade system seems to be the replacement for the ribbons in previous games. I do wish they did a better job at showing you how you earned each accolade, but at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal. Those have always felt like bonus points to me for capturing objectives or reviving teammates anyways. I do like the UI notifiers for killing sprees in game as well, like the double kill, triple kill, stuff like that. Little things like that make those moments just feel that much more epic and exciting, and I'm curious to see how weapon unlocks will be at launch day. The way they have it in beta is good right now. I've always preferred requiring rank levels in order to unlock certain weapons. I hope they stick with that and they don't pivot to some weird sort of currency unlock system that they've tried in the past. And to wrap up the video, this next point might be a bit controversial, but I'm actually genuinely surprised at how much the unlocked weapon class system in this game became a non-issue to me pretty fast. Okay, maybe it's just me, maybe the balancing issues in this game would be fixed if they locked the weapons. I'm not sure. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. But personally, when going from the open weapons playlist to the closed conquest playlist, the game really didn't feel that different. I never found myself feeling like I needed to go and play the closed weapons mode in order to have a good time. And honestly, when playing the open weapon system, I usually chose the signature weapon for each class anyways due to the incentives using those weapons provided. And if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know I've been a proponent for keeping the classes locked. But honestly, after playing Battlefield 6, the game would work either way. I'm completely fine with it. No class seems to be completely broken or meta yet. Who knows, it could change at launch. I will say, I do believe they should just double down and pick one system for the game. Keeping locked and unlocked classes in the game shows a lack of confidence in their game design, in my opinion, and you're going to keep having this issue in future titles if you don't just decide on what direction you want the franchise to go in. But hey guys, that's going to wrap up the video. I am so excited to play weekend 2 of the open beta, where we will all finally get our hands on that Empire State map. I'm definitely going to be streaming on the channel, so look out for that. That map looks like an absolute banger, okay? And I have no idea what I'm going to do until this Thursday. But what are you guys thinking so far of Battlefield 6? Are there any glaring problems in this game that I didn't touch on? Does this game recapture the magic of the older titles for you as well? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. And if you made it this far in the video, I truly appreciate you, man. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new around here. And until the next one, my name is Sam. Hope you have a good one. Bye.